And then, is that on? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful people. Wonderful creatures of God's creations. Aren't we all here together, keeping each other warm? Thank you for handling the surprise pretty well. The furnace guys are coming, guess when? Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And you know what? Their check is in the mail. So anyway, we're very glad to be here. We're grateful that you're all here with us, and we're just going to keep each other warmed up. I'm Sally Jo. I just lit our peace candle, which represents all the peace candles upstairs that I didn't want to bring down and risk having a fire on top of everything else today. We do, though, keep in our mind the sacredness of the candle that we light. And you're going to hear more about the candle lighting today when you hear about how at Peace Camp, we light a candle every morning right in the center of this circle and talk about the light that we all have shining in our hearts. So I won't give that away. And so I'm going to ring the bell, and we're going to start, and we're going to have some music by our own Emerson Rowe, who's going to give us a little opening music. Oh, thank you, Emerson. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. And we can just appreciate the making of music at times like this when we can come together and enjoy that aspect. We are going to begin by inviting our ancestors to this gathering, which they're probably already here, but just in case there are a few who are sleeping in today, we're going to have Chris Rapshivitz invite our ancestors and also honor our First Peoples today.
Good morning, and it's something I don't often say. Somehow I forget to introduce myself, but I'm proud to be here. My name is Chris Rapsevich. I'm a longtime member of Interfaith Community Sanctuary, and I'm glad to see all of you and here and have Emerson's brother Bryce working our technical board. It's great to have more of the Rowe family here today. Lovely to have that. And I'd also like to acknowledge and honor the ancestors in a way that only in January can we. I'm a person who's pagan and a mystic, and I realized as I was asked to do this that January is named after a deity, a figure that we don't know a lot about other than they named the first month after him, Janus. Janus is a figure that has two faces, one looking forward, one looking back, and this time especially, I think it's important to acknowledge those that have come before, but especially at this service where we're going to learn more about Peace Camp and share in their adventures of sorts, to think about not just the ancestors, but also our descendants, those who not only have gone before us and taught us and helped us grow educationally wise, spiritually wise, but those who we may be here to teach, and those who come after us, who we may not even know at this time. So I'd like everyone to maybe close their eyes briefly, think about folks like that, folks who've gone before us, folks who have taught us, folks who've shared their lives with us and that we've been able to learn from, and I'll be quiet to help us think of those folks. And also, as I mentioned, if there are young people and other folks who we anticipate coming after us, think of those folks briefly in spirit or in their young lives. Thank you, and we welcome all to this service. We welcome those spirits. May you remain with us to help share in this celebration, and I'm proud to do that as I do often. One more thing I'd like to do is acknowledge that the land that Interfaith Community Sanctuary sits on is ceded land from Native peoples. There are many tribes that have crossed the land. We call Seattle, which is named after a Native leader, Chief Sealth, or I'm sure there's a better way to say his name in his language, which I'm not always aware of. But I'd like to acknowledge that the Native peoples who came before us struggled and honored the land, held it sacred, nurtured it for themselves and for their descendants. And we acknowledge that not just this land here in this place we call Seattle or Ballard, but all across the country, in South America, all around the world, there are Native peoples who've struggled and held their land sacred, and we honor that struggle. I would like to offer one prayer that our dear friend Cecincole Laurel Boucher, who's recovering from a surgery, more blessings and prayers for her. But I'd like to do the prayer that she has offered to us. I'm going to put my hand on my heart, and you're all welcome to join me if you'd like, or friends at home. And there I gather all that is human about me, and you can think about, we're going to make an offering to the Creator, and as we do that offering, we're going to say the word aho. So we're going to raise our hands up and then bring it back, and when the Creator sees our offering, he may or she may give us a gift in that hand. And so another deep breath. Oh! Blessed be. Thank you. I should also introduce my wife, Lila, who's going to offer a prayer for the Divine Feminine and do some singing and drumming. Thank you, Lila.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lila. I'll be sharing 2 pagan chants in honor of the Divine Feminine. The goddess is alive, the magic is afoot. 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 Goddess is alive, the magic is afoot. The 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 goddess is alive, the magic is afoot. Alive, the magic is afoot. Goddess is alive, the magic is afoot. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. My body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath and fire my spirit. Fire my spirit, fire my spirit, fire my spirit. Aho. We send this loving energy from this community out to the universe. We praise the goddess for all her blessings, so mote it be.
Thank you, Chris and Lila. Beautiful opening offerings for us today. My name is Sally Joe, and I'm co-minister here at Interfaith Community Sanctuary. And the fourth Sunday has been gifted to me as my time to be with the congregation and literally with congregants who are helping me to present a theme every month on the fourth Sunday. And in this community, many of you know, but you may not know if you haven't been here for very long, that every year we have a what we call an annual discernment. And this is a theme or a topic that the ministerial staff has gotten together along with others in our community to come up with a theme that we discern together as a congregation and as a community throughout the year. And discernment means, in my opinion, I didn't look this up in Webster's or anything, but the way I have understood the word discernment means a deep, heartfelt understanding of something. It's more than just reading about it or hearing about it or thinking about it on a superficial level, but it's a deep, when you discern something, you explore it deeply. And that's what we try to do in our community, which is why we have a whole year to spend with it, and then sometimes it carries over into other years as well. And our annual discernment, our yearly overarching theme is an invitation to create sanctuary in community. So we're looking at this word sanctuary, which is part of our name, and it was a very intentional part of our name as a community, the Interfaith Community Sanctuary. And we're delving deeper into what that might mean for each and every one of us, for those of us who are here and those of us who are not here yet, but who may be coming. And each month we have a kind of a breakdown of an aspect of that discernment. And for January, the breakdown we decided would be Sanctuary of Inclusion. Now, I want to suggest something here that was suggested to us actually in our Friday prayer group by Bahia Ann Helms-Redding. I see you came in, Ann. I didn't see you come in. Welcome. I hope you don't mind if I borrow some thoughts from your, yeah, thank you. Caught that one. Bahia Ann is the head of our Friday prayer group that meets every Friday, and she's been talking about this January theme and has been helping us to discern the meaning of inclusion, and has asked us to consider the word belonging as a kind of a replacement for inclusion, mainly because in her mind, and I have to agree with her, the word inclusion has taken on some kind of political coloration these days, or some, I don't know, a lot of interpretation. And inclusion kind of implies, and in fact, we've even talked about it at some points, some people have already talked about, inclusion also implies exclusion, right? Because they're two opposites and they go together. And belonging is a term that we each feel as an individual. When do I belong? And I want you to just think for a minute, and this is what I started my contemplation thinking for myself. Where and when do I feel I belong in this world? And where do I sometimes feel I do not belong in this world? And so I'm going to ask us to take Ann's suggestion and think deeply about the word belonging today. Because I think that when I started thinking about where do we belong, of course, and Bahia Ann mentioned this too, we all belong on planet Earth. So far, none of us have traveled to those distant planets. And maybe some people are imagining they will, but right now we belong to Mother Earth. And we've been honoring Mother Earth a lot lately, and we should continue to do so. We belong to Mother Earth, and as Bahia Ann pointed out, and as our indigenous brothers and sisters locally have pointed out to us, we're also all indigenous to this earth. So far as I know, except for my brother, I think everybody else was born on Earth, right? I used to tell him he wasn't, but you know. Anyway, I think we were all here on Mother Earth from the beginning, and hopefully we'll be here till the end or whenever. And we all belong to Mother Earth, and we belong to the Creator or the creation. And even my father, who was an atheist, believed that we belong to creation. And he believed in creation as being a very important concept. So we do belong together, and even though I know sometimes I would like to push people out of the belonging circle, we still all belong here. And we all got here the same way. I mean, I didn't get any special privilege to come here, and somebody else was denied that privilege, as far as I know. So I think that we want to try to incorporate that in our community here. And another important point is we belong to each other. And that's where it gets a little sticky, maybe, because, but okay, we have to overcome our stickiness about belonging to each other. And we have to really, I think it's important that we start contemplate that. See if you can discern if you belong to each other, if we all belong to each other. Now, when I think about Peace Camp International, that's where belonging becomes personal to me. Because Peace Camp belongs right here in this room. Peace Camp takes place for 3 to 4 weeks every summer, here, outside on the grounds, upstairs in the sanctuary. This whole building becomes Peace Camp International every summer for the last 11 years, going on 12. And it becomes a different place for me. It becomes vibrant and alive with life, and you're going to hear about that today. But I want to just share a couple of personal experiences about Peace Camp that make me feel like I belong to Peace Camp, okay? Because I've never registered. Chiaki can tell you that. I've never registered as a Peace Camper. I've never been an official Peace Camp mom or a Peace Camp counselor in training. I should be. I need some training on that. But, I hang around Peace Camp. And I love to come to ICS and just pop in during the day and see the kids playing volleyball out here and Foursquare out here and sitting on their little mats out here and upstairs practicing for the talent show upstairs on the piano and on the guitar, and hear them talking and playing games and teaching each other new games, and sitting on the stairs. That's my favorite place to go. And, when I walk in and Peace Camp is happening, I feel like I'm immediately part of it. No, I mean, people say, "Hi, Sally Joe," they know my name. But even if they don't, they're so busy, they don't know. But I feel like I belong. And there's something about the atmosphere that helps me feel that way. And they do. The little kids run up, and say hi and want to hug. And the bigger kids want to know how to play something on the piano or whatever. We start interacting right away. And I love to sit in on the circle meetings. I try to come for every morning circle. And I try to be here at the end of the day for the afternoon circles, because that's when we really connect with each other as individuals in the circle, and everything gets quiet. And we think back and contemplate on the day. Now, what I noticed throughout the years is that many, many different types of children and adults come to Peace Camp from all over the world. We had a year when the Japanese folks came. A Japanese teacher and her students brought 6 or 7 of her students. They stayed in Seattle, and they came to Peace Camp for, I think, a whole week. We have our counselors, and Gretchen's going to talk about that. But we have people from all over the world who come, kids from our school systems who live here, but who come from all over. I was remembering the little girl that I used to drive back to West Seattle every day. Her family was Muslim. They were from Somalia. She was so adorable. And we had the best talks on the way home from Peace Camp every day. And she would go home, and she was fasting during Ramadan. I remember it was Ramadan that summer, in the middle of the summer. And we would talk about fasting and when she was going to break fast and what they were going to have for dinner. And so we bring in people from all different cultures and backgrounds, people who can afford to pay, people who cannot afford to pay. Gretchen has never, ever turn down anybody who cannot pay, although almost everybody pays something. And we bring together these kids, and there have been some kids with special needs too. And it's not real obvious, but there were, children who have special eating restrictions, or who cannot do certain kinds of exercise because of a heart condition. Whatever, they're still welcomed. They belong. They become part of the group. I remember there was a young man who was a little awkward, but he knew how to play that game, Dungeons and Dragons. Remember that? When that was big. And I was a teacher at the time, middle school teacher, and the kids would play that game at lunchtime. I didn't know what it was about. So he was teaching people to play it. I was thinking, would you teach me to play that? I kind of want to know what is this about? Well, that was a hard job for him, because I am not good at learning games and stuff. But he sat there right up there on the porch with me, and he taught me, like, for 2 hours one day with his buddies, a little bit of how to play Dungeons and Dragons. And he didn't say, well, you're an adult, why do you want to play this? No, he was so happy to teach me how to play that game. And that's the kind of belonging that we have here at Peace Camp. I'm going to tell you one last story. I don't know if some of you Peace Campers will remember this. So I love to go swimming with the kids. We go up to the Ballard Pool once a week, and we have the pool, not to ourselves, but pretty much, and that's my favorite day. And Gretchen always knows. You can ask Sally Joe to help be a chaperone on that day because she loves to swim. Well, that day, we were going up to the pool, and I did something really weird. I decided, because I'd been watching the kids for years, go off that rope swing. You know, they have a rope swing at the... That was really scary for me. But I decided I wanted to go to the edge and try it. And I told a couple of the kids, I think I want to try the rope swing today. They go, yeah, Sally Joe, please do. I'm like, but I'm scared. And they're like, don't worry about it. We'll be right there for you. It's really easy. It's not that hard. Da, da, da. You can swim, right? Can you pass the swim test? Oh, yeah, I can swim. But like, really? And I was like, I'm just shaking telling this story. I'm not kidding about this, you guys. I was really scared. But I thought, okay, we ask kids to do scary things all the time. We ask them to get up in front at the talent show and blah, 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 blah. So I went to the pool. I was shaking, and then it was time for, the swing is at the end of the whole, after the 2 hours and we're there. They open up the swing. We got in line. And I was like, I wanted to bow out. I wanted to duck out. They're going like, no, come on, Sally Joe. There was one in front of me, one behind me, and they wouldn't let me out of the line. And they said, it's really easy. Just let go when you get to the middle, I said, okay, that can't be too hard, right? I know it sounds ridiculous, but this is the vulnerability that we are allowed. Here I was, a 68-year-old woman doing a rope swing for the first time, and these kids were buoying me up and letting me know that they would be there for me and would help me do it. And at the closing circle that day, I must have gotten 60 compliments about how great I was. It made it all worthwhile. So that's my story of belonging. Now I want to introduce Gretchen Rowe and her son Emerson, her son Bryce are here. They're just always with us, and they've been part of Peace Camp in many different ways. She's brought some of her campers. She's brought some of her Peace Camp moms and directors, and they're going to explain to you from their background what is Peace Camp International and how does it fit in with our sanctuary of belonging. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to do this. Peace Camp, like Interfaith Community Sanctuary is our sanctuary at Peace Camp. And I think that the kids during Peace Camp, they're like, this is our place. And on Sundays, usually we don't get Peace Camp families coming to church services, which when I saw Elliott's family, I could see why. They all looked like they were very tired. Anyway, it's so nice to have part of us here because I feel like the congregation who supports Peace Camp invisibly, and some of our Peace Camp people can meet each other and see each other. So I'm really grateful that we have a nice crowd here and that you all came, so thank you very much. I want to thank Karen Lindquist, who's not with us anymore, because Karen, when I told her that I wanted to do Peace Camp, now it's 12 years ago, she said, well, and I just wanted to do it. She said, well, write a proposal. I was like, oh, I don't want to write a proposal. But I did, and I'm glad she made me do it because it really made me think and at the time I didn't think, I want to have a camp called Peace Camp. I didn't have a name for it. And I stewed, and I didn't want to use the name peace because everybody uses the name peace. And I was like, you know what? But that's what it is. And you have a right to the word peace, just like everybody else has a right to the word peace. So I called it Peace Camp. Then a little bit of history. A couple years later, I met Sister Lucy, who has an orphanage in India called Maher. And she and one of her Maher, he wasn't a boy, but he grew up in Maher, Gauss. I met them at an interfaith, interspiritual event. And so Gauss had really upbeat energy, and I decided to invite him. And actually, I forgot to say that Emerson was one of my first Peace Camp counselors with his friend Bryce Johnson. And thank you, Emerson. You see Emerson. Those of you online can't see Emerson, but Emerson is Emerson. His friend Bryce Johnson, as the kids used to say, Bryce always has, even when he's not smiling, it looks like he has his face is smiling. And Emerson is just like, and so they were a great combination, a wonderful combination of what I really appreciated about them, talk about belonging, is I had I had kind of like an extrovert and an introvert. And that just those counselors having that, and then there was me, who was the mom, it gave the kids permission to be who they are and learn, because as Gauss used to call Emerson, he's like a coconut. He's like, looks like he's hard on the outside, but he's so sweet on the inside. And, you know, the kids would crawl into his lap and everything. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on about Peace Camp because Sally Jo did a really good job. But I do want to talk about the light. And both here and in Uganda, the kids know every Monday Gretchen talks about the light and beauty. And I always say that Peace Camp is a place where light, my light meets your light. It's inside of us and it's outside of us. And when our inner, it's a safe place, and we're in the sanctuary. We talk about the sanctuary, like this is a sanctuary. The sanctuary, we take care of the building takes care of us, and it's a safe place for our light to shine. And when my light shines and your light shines, it becomes so bright. And then I talk about how beauty interacts with beauty. And oftentimes, you know, we don't, out in the world, we often don't really, maybe don't feel safe showing our most beautiful parts because you don't know if someone's going to step on that. So we kind of protect the most beautiful parts of ourselves, which is really sad to me. And so I guess Peace Camp is kind of like my heart. It's like what I want in the world, where it's a place where beauty can interact with beauty. And it doesn't mean that, you know, we don't hit each other's edges, but the kids know that when that happens, we will take a moment and solve that problem or whatever. And just the environment is a safe place for your beauty to come out. And having said that, I want to invite Elliott, because I've learned from our Peace Camp talent show what an awesome poet Elliott is. And I also am a poet, and I say that not in a braggy kind of a way or something. It's just, I have a poet's soul. That's how I interact with the world. And it's kind of a lonely kind of way to be, because there aren't very many of us, or at least maybe we don't show. And Elliott, and I was so excited. By the way, his mom, Nicole, is right here. She's a Peace Camp mom. You'll meet Chiaki later, but Nicole's too tired to speak in the morning. I have to tell a funny story about Nicole. Mangesh from India and Bernard from Uganda, who come and they kind of run the programming. They told me, they said, Auntie, Nicole is really funny. Like, she comes in the morning and she's just like, And then in the afternoon, she's dancing. She's just so fun. She has a great sense of humor. Okay, so anyway, Elliott read a poem last year at Peace Camp. And so I asked him, when Sally Jo and I talked about having Peace Camp represent inclusion and belonging for the theme, I wanted to ask Elliott to read poems too, so we don't often get to hear our child's voice on Sundays, right? And children's voices are, when I go to Maher and the kids do the chanting in India, it's so beautiful. It's just, it's very healing. So I'm really grateful that Elliott is with me on this, and I'm also grateful. Wait till you hear his poems. It's like, for me, it's like when a poet meets another poet's soul. It doesn't matter what the age is. It's like, So, did I say you were gonna say something too, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Like, I agree with everything that Gretchen said. I really enjoy meeting people who love creating and reading poetry. It's just sometimes such a freeing experience to meet someone who shares your interests and what you like and what you enjoy doing from day to day and just your entire life.
Okay, thank you, Elliott. So what we're going to do is, we've paired our poems. So I'll start. It's going to be an exchange. I'm going to read. He's going to read. I'm going to read. There is one point where I read 2 in a row, but I hope you'll see the interweaving of the themes, and you'll enjoy it and feel fulfilled. Okay. Can you hear Elliott? Okay. I hope I can handle all this with my hands here. Okay. Visions of time. People laugh when their hearts are singing. People love when they share a song. As I walk staring at the future, eyes blind, my soul leads me to where I belong. The child sees through idle eyes and open hearts, unaware of the change of time, never to beware when the judgment starts. Laughter through love, love through laughter, learning to care and knowing when to share. New moons rise, the child grows tall, less love, less laughter as setting suns fall. Questions arise, answers lie on untraveled roads. Grown child searches and wonders while carrying heavy loads. The inner child peeks out with curiosity. Is it safe to love in this new destiny? Sitting, humming, their heart begins to sing. In the distance it is heard, laughter beginning. People laugh when their hearts are singing. People love when they share a song.
The weight of sadness. Sadness, it's inevitable, crushing, and comes of all kinds of forms. Grief, guilt, depression, regret, and sometimes just downright dejection. Sadness feels like the end, but sadness is not the only thing in this world. Let the sadness envelop you, but do not let it consume you. Sadness can destroy you if you let it define you. Instead, find peace within your sadness. Find the clarity in between the tears. For peace is the life giver, the light within us all. Nature is at peace with itself. Sadness is natural. Instead of trying to destroy the cause of your sadness, find peace with it, because destruction can only lead to hate, and hate is never love.
Love and peace. Peace is the opening of letting go, putting down the swords of defense so that the walls may come down and love may transmit. Peace is that place where love can pass in and out, through and through. Peace is a place, and it also is a guide for love to fully manifest in its rightful form. Love and peace, seeing each other in the mirror of life. The perfect couple. One is the other is one. Love and peace. When they look at each other, they see themselves.
The chains of guilt. Guilt is there lurking on the edge of a choice. One wrong move and it shall be there feeding on your thoughts and soul. Guilt is a chains trapping your conscience, the voice reminding you of all the mistakes you've made. Guilt will constantly remind you of them, never relenting. Alleviate yourself of that guilt by apologizing, by talking. But remember, never lock your emotions away. That only leads to dead ends, none of them pleasant.
A mother's pain of love. The pain of love a mother has for a son. The pain in holding him accountable for his effect on the world around him, while also holding and caring for the jewel within. Yearning to hold him and whisper in his ear, "It's okay," but at the same time knowing in order to grow, he must face his deeds and himself. The pain of wondering if the mothering is strong and compassionate enough, or compassionate and strong enough, during the dark, prickly moments that life sometimes brings. The pain of love a mother has for a son. The pain that causes the eyelids to quiver as the inner eyes prepare for the emergence of hot, burning tears dug from the deepest wells of love. The pain of love a mother has for a son. The constrictive knots that roll around the belly that was once bulging from the boy who grew inside of her. The pain of love a mother has for a son. The pain she did not know existed until it squeezed her from the inside, the depths of where the seed of love was planted. The roots deepen as the boy blossoms and sometimes wilts. The pain of love a mother has for a son. The shame one can feel in mothering a son. Through it all, both are growing, mother and son. The strength of our love intensifies the pain of accountability. The journey that feels like walking through a hot fire will hopefully lead toward a road of growing strength and bonding. Oh, the pain of love a mother has for a son.
The destruction of grief. Grief. Grief is not forever, but for one going through grief, grief is total destruction, the final end. You must let grief go. Do not hold on to it as if that is the only thing left. Let grief go. They will be happy. Do not taint memories with grief. Let them live on in happiness.
Breath. God, may I breathe into you while you breathe into me, my breath, your breath. May I sing into you while you sing into me, my song, your song. May I dance inside of you while you dance inside of me, my rhythm, your rhythm. May I blossom inside of you while you blossom inside of me, my spring, your spring. May I hold you inside of me while you hold me inside of you, my pool, your pool of love. May my breath become your breath. May it become our breath, our love, our ecstasy, all breathing into life.
The wisdom of youth. Though the people went to the old man for guidance, he knew that wisdom did not only come through the eyes and mouth of the old. Though they had seen and said and seen many things, true wisdom comes with impartiality. This he had none of, for his ears had heard many things. His mouth had long since begun uttering things with a distant view. His eyes had seen many things from afar. The small child came up to him, and they said, "What is true wisdom?" The man thought for a little, and after he looked her straight in the eyes, something he had not done in many years, as he was afraid to see the expressions of his visitors' faces, he replied, "Look not to the outside, but turn your gaze inward. There you shall find your wisdom."
Eyes of empathy. A bench holding a boy of inquisition, sitting next to a man of tired disposition. The boy, blossoming with questions, turned to face the man and ask him about life. The boy wondered, what was this that lay before him while at the same time stirred within? The man, wilting within from the same question, could not face the boy, for he only saw a dead end within himself. The man turned his head as if to look the other way. The bench was small. The boy, with his innocent trust in the man, moved closer. "Excuse me, sir," said the boy. "I don't mean to impose, but I have a problem that nobody knows." The boy's voice, thought the man. Hadn't he sounded the same way in his youth? A shot of compassion injected into his heart. Life emerged where it had once been fading. With eyes of empathy, the man turned toward the boy. Said the man, "I am sorry, son. As you can see, I am wearing life's problems like an old winter coat. I have no answers. I bear only the gifts of stillness and my listening ears." "That's all I ask," replied the boy. "For the winter coat of your life and the gift of your ears carry with them the wisdom of many years. Your gifts warm my heart and settle my soul. One is now beating a peaceful rhythm, and the other is beginning to dance again." The man sat, the boy sat. The bench held them both while the breath of life blew new seeds of love, hope, and acceptance into each of their beings. A softened face, bright eyes, and peaceful breath swirled forth. New life emerged. Birds were heard singing.
The power of music. There is something in the tune or melody of music that I cannot withstand. Something beautiful, something incomprehensible. Music generates a certain allure that can draw in millions. Sometimes the allure fades. The sound of music ebbs and flows akin to some towering serpent of the sea. Music is the wind beneath my wings, the tailwind bringing me ever closer to home.
The bird. The bird flew on, searching for the music, the soother of the soul. Flying through the darkness of torture and pain, music pulsating in her breast. Skies darkened, trees shake, the music beats on. Her wings pump through blackened skies, beating to her heart's rhythm. Eyes bright, body alive, she feels the music stirring the air around her. Skies brightened colors of the earth fill her vision. Out of the darkness of despair, flying toward the music, reaching for her habitat of hope. Landing after a long flight, deep rhythmic breaths, wings stretch out and close in, wrapping her breast in harmony. A tortured world traveled. Does the music make it easier for all? Does it dull the pain of the inflictor as well as the inflicted? Perfumed with sweetness, music becomes her escape. Melodies bring peace to her soul. Lyrics speak to her mind. She remains feeling the deep rhythms in her bosom, alive in her habitat of hope.
Hope. Hope is not seeing the end of a long, grueling journey. It is starting the journey knowing the end will come. Hope is foresight. Hope is the bravery to start. Hope is the bravery to continue. Hope is the answer.
Thoughts. When brightness and hope have lost their way, the mind rebuilds like molding clay. Brightness shines, shadows come and go. Follow the sun and let yourself glow.
Peace. It does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be amongst those things and still find the light and calmness inside you. Peace is a gift from yourself to yourself by acknowledging the chaos but not letting it in. Peace is a thought. Peace is a vision. Peace is here.
The harmony of silence. The harmony of silence. Many don't realize or are unaware that its beauty has grabbed hold of their being, blind and deaf to the fact that silence is there and has brought peace to their soul. The harmony of silence. Its music ignored, talked over, providing false comfort for the fear of silence, the fear through which one can only feel the vibrations of their own screams calling from within. The truth of silence becomes overwhelming to the false covering of their soul. Dip, wade, and then swim into the pool of silence. Rescue the fear as you dive for the light that is calling you from the depths, the darkness. Silence. Listen for the harmony with the pulse of your being.
The depths of dreams. Dreams are a different plane of existence, a second layer to our world. But in this second layer, there's many different aspects. Some sinister, some innocent, some cute, some just downright strange. But the nice thing about dreams is that they are moldable. They are yours to control. You are not pushed around by dreams, even if they are nightmares. You can shape the dream into any shape that pleases you, whether it be some sort of device to exact revenge on your enemies, or some sort of built-up dreamland where all that you know and love is there in your kingdom of clouds.
The cellar. I close my eyes and open the cellar of my mind. The backs of my eyelids swim with the magnetic forces living beyond, vibrating with energy of their own. The light and dark figures swim magically across my inner vision. The northern lights dancing, weaving in and out of the deepest territories of my own frontier. Familiar lights and dances, not knowing the uniqueness nor the beauty, the child lives with this inner vision. Looking again through adult eyes, she sees anew, familiar, at home, she understands the beauty.
The bridge of truth. Life can be a heavy thing, the realities that we all live in. The one common uniter of all our planes of existence is truth, the bridge between realities. Truth is not just a fact, but foresight. Foresight is not just a feeling, but intention. Intention is not just a plan, but a telescope viewing this world through its distant lens.
Dear love, thank you for continually breathing your sweet breath into and among us. Thank you for beating your love rhythm through our eyes and hearts so that we may be nourished by you in the other. Dear love, may we take in and digest your infinite, visible but invisible power, beauty and warmth, that which lifts the corners of our lips and expands our chests and waters our eyes. Dear love, you never fail. You are the light of forgiveness, the friend of the stranger, and the language of all creation. Thank you, dear love, for your existence, whether known or unknown. Without you, we would be nothing. With you, we are everything. May we live and breathe in that beauty. Amen. High five. Wow, you can't. Oh, wait, that wasn't good. wasn't Elliott, wasn't that, I mean, I'm sorry, but wasn't that great? The depth of Elliott's poem, it was so fun doing this project. I emailed Nicole last night. I was like, I hope I can sleep tonight. I'm so excited. I was so excited to share his wisdom with everybody and go back and forth. So thank you all. Thank you, Elliott. Thank you, Clint and Nicole, for bringing him. Okay. Now, I don't, okay. So at Peace Camp, I was the first counselor mom, and as I got older and tireder, and then I got sick, I have been blessed to have beautiful people that I worked and taught with, and so now teachers and, yeah, Chiaki, you're a teacher now, from McDonald International School volunteered their time to be the counselor moms and to support Mangesh and Gauss, because they're coming from India and Uganda, and they do great because they have the counselor moms there supporting the foundation of their work. Sometimes they don't want to hold kids accountable because they're from a different culture, and the way they do things in Uganda or India are different than the way maybe they do things here, and maybe they might think that something is acceptable here, and it's not, but they think, well, maybe that's how they do it in the United States. One day, actually, I just have a funny story about Bernard. There was one little girl who, she was not listening. She ignored all of our, don't do this or whatever, do this. And she was really stubborn. And Bernard came to me and he said, I just want to use my Ugandan voice. And I said, do it. I think she needs it. And so I'll change her name to Sarah. And so he goes, Sarah, stop. And she stopped. So anyway, I'm going to introduce a counselor. I want to have counselor mom feel now, and also a counselor in training feel now, Ima. So Chiaki and Ima are going to come up and tell their stories of Peace Camp and kind of their journey, I guess, and what it has meant to them. And I don't want to say any more. I'll let them speak. So why don't you both come up, and then one person can sit here and while the other one talks. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Chiaki. Let's see. I met Gretchen first time at the McDonald International, where my two daughters went. And I remember during the pandemic, we had a Zoom meeting because you wanted to find somebody to work with you for the Peace Camp. And she tried, now I think back, she tried her best to explain Peace Camp, but I still didn't know what that is. It's really hard to explain how great the Peace Camp is. And then next summer, she invited me and my daughter to be part of the Peace Camp. That's the first year I came as a counselor mom, and since then I really fell in love with this program ever since. So part of it that I think it's great for any kids that have such a safe place to be, so unstructured, and Gretchen often say that ICS reminds her of her grandmother's house. And I didn't think till today, but now oh yeah, it's just like my grandma's house. All my cousins are there, and then they don't live really nearby, so we don't see each other we saw each other every 6 or 7 months. But we are family, and we close enough, we just all of a sudden we are the siblings start playing outside, inside, watch TV together. So it's really, I resonate that the way she mentioned that she is now on the peace camp. And as an adult, I feel like I benefit a lot to be part of the peace camp because I grew up in Japan, and I moved here when I was 28. And you can do the math, but recently I had a 24th anniversary being in the US. So it's been a long time. But I still feel like as an adult, and I'm an immigrant, as English is my second language, trying to do all the stuff to mingle in a different country, that's a lot. And then sometimes I feel like after 24 years, I still struggle to feel like I'm part of it. And that's, I think we all have that moment still as a grown-up to be that state. And I feel like when I come to peace camp, I feel like I'm part of it. And I see that every kids bring in their own, they have a space to be who they are. And the circle time is just one of the great times that they share what they're feeling, what they're appreciating, what they sometimes want to apologize for whatever happened that day. Everybody get to have a turn to do it. And then that's just amazing to see how much of them, the true themselves comes out. And then that's how we get to know each other, we accept each other. That's just such a beautiful thing to watch. And 5 days a week, I see some of them just know each other from the day one, but I still see the new friendships just emerge on the day 5, the last day. And that's also really something about like the mixed age, mixed culture, a lot of times some of the kids speak a different language that just connect each other in a very different level, but a very, how do I say, different level, but it's really a hopeful way. Because sometimes some people need more time to get used to in a comfortable way. Sometimes people like really quick right away. I have 2 daughters who is introvert and extrovert, and I see that every day how that works for them. So, yeah, overall, just as an adult, and also as a mom, as I just see as a counselor mom just how great this place is, and then they all look forward to coming back every summer, and in a way that I feel like it would be great to have peace camp every weekend for them. My daughter one time, like maybe November, that's only 2 months after the new school year started, and then they say, you know, Mom, it would be nice to have a peace camp. The school is kind of like a peace camp. So they miss it, but they know that's possible, and then they can look forward to the summer to have that. Yeah, so I was driving here this morning, and I was like, oh, I'm just so excited just driving this same route. I do this every day. So yeah, hopefully all the kids, new and old, will come back to peace camp with kind of like the same excitement and they feel included and safe there. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
Okay. I'm a CIT, so I'm not like actually a counselor. Oh, my bad. I'm a CIT, so I'm not actually like a counselor, but like one step down. But everything that they've said about like sanctuary is definitely true. Like on the first day of camp, we bring all the kids into like a circle up there, and Mangesh asked everybody to like go around and say what sanctuary means to them, and it's like around the same thing, you know, oh, it's like a safe space. And a lot of the kids that come back like every year, they say the same thing of like, yeah, it's like it's a place where like you're with your family, which is really sweet, because obviously some kids come with their siblings, but a lot of kids come alone, and on the first day it's like a nervous excitement. But when everybody comes together, it's nice to see like they like, I don't know, they bond in a really sweet way about after the circle, we come down here, and that's when the kids can actually like meet each other and like play together and stuff to get their like freedom a little bit. And there's like stations, so like there's like beads and games and snacks and Legos and stuff, and the kids are really nervous on the first day. None of them talk to each other, so they're just like sitting there in silence doing their little projects. And Mangesh and Bernard, everybody like sits down with them, and it's like, do you wanna talk to this person doing the same thing? And they come together and do it together, and then it's really sweet. And then the next year, when they're already friends, they come back and they miss each other and they have like hugs and stuff. And I don't know, it's really nice to see kids like they're brave, because when I was a kid I was really shy, and I know I came here and I didn't want to talk to anybody. I came with my sister, and she was like very extroverted, so she'd always make friends, and I'd be like in the corner, I'd be like, okay. But all the counselors and the CITs like do really, really good job at like bringing the kids together, and this is definitely like a safe space now, even for me, because in our outside lives I feel like there's not a lot of places that feel really safe, you know? Obviously you have, for some people, like your home, space with your friends, but like a lot of times throughout the year when we're not here, it's like, it's easy to lose that feeling. And I feel like coming back here is always the highlight of my year, because like, even the months and like days surrounding it, you like count up and you're like, oh, it's coming up, it's coming up. And Mangesh and Bernard, who are the counselors, they teach so much gratitude and like just acceptance. Like they make you feel so good in just being here and being you, you know? Like you come in one day and you're tired and they're like, it's okay, or you're like really energetic and they're like, great, you know? It's just, they're very supportive. And so even the months and days like surrounding Peace Camp, you bring that like gratitude and like openness into your own life, and you see it like impacting the way you feel. Like during the summer, I'm so much happier. I'm so much like want to go like hang out and do stuff and like outgoing, and it's just really nice. And it's a space for me. I know it's a space for a lot of the other CITs. And also, I mean, mainly is what it's about the kids, but it's about everybody. And I remember one year, like, we have our talent show on Fridays, so like all the kids throughout the week, they go practice their acts, and then on Friday we have like the big thing, and like all the families come and the Peace Camp moms there. It's really sweet. And Duncan and Oliver, who are two kids that go here, they were doing a puppet show and they were practicing, and Duncan is like really like friends with everybody. He's very like out there, but then Oliver is like a little bit shyer. And I remember Oliver said to Duncan, he was like, are you sure that we can like do all this on stage? Like, I don't want to get up there and embarrass myself in front of all these people. And like, I mean, it sounds like something out of a book, but like this really happened. Duncan was like, it's okay, Oliver, because Peace Camp is a safe space. And it was so sweet. And then they did it. They went up there and they did it, and they didn't mess up. But it was just sweet, like, that you see them knowing that if they do mess up, it's going to be okay. Because Peace Camp just has that air about it that it's like so accepting. And that's, I don't know. It's a really nice space. That's all I have to say about it. You good? Go back? Sure.
Just one question. All this information for registration and timetable is all on the website.
Yes, because Chiaki's multi-talented. She does the ICS website. I'm glad you asked that question, because I forgot to mention that she does the ICS website. She has Jamal's website. And Jamal, there's someone at the door. And she updated the United Village Peace Camp website. But if you go to the interfaithcommunitysanctuary.org, there's a link to Peace Camp, right? Otherwise, unitedvillage.org. No.
It's in the program. I put the United Village website on the reverse, on the, the inside of the program, underneath Gretchen's picture. It has the unitedvillage.co.
Yeah, United Village, for those of you online who don't have the program, it's unitedvillage.co. No M because that was already taken. Okay, so now I want to introduce Emerson's music, right? That's what we're on? Yes. And I love Emerson's saxophone playing, and I am his mother, but I'm going to tell a story first. So Emerson and Bryce, their dad he used to be the band director at Hamilton, and he's been a band director their whole lives. So when Emerson was coming of age, like he was in 3rd grade, so the next year he would be in 4th grade and be able to play an instrument. And he wanted to play the alto sax. And Dan said, no, you can't play the alto sax. Your fingers are too small. You won't. And Emerson kept saying, but I want to play the alto sax. And Emerson said, no, start with a clarinet or something. And Emerson said, I want to play the alto sax. And, and Dan said, what was the song that you had to play?
Amazing Grace.
Oh, he said, if you can play Amazing Grace on the alto sax, then I'll let you start with the alto sax. And he practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced until he got it. And then Dan's like, okay, I guess you can play the alto sax. So thank you for playing here.
Beautiful. Thank you, Emerson. Thank you, Gretchen and Chiaki and Ima and all the folks who are enjoying this program out there in cyberspace. I want to say one more thing about the multi-age aspect of Peace Camp, because, I mean, Ima was alluding to that, about the way kids help each other who are different age groups. And, you know, we go down to Golden Gardens every week with the kids for the whole day. We go down to we pick a day, a sunny day, we go down to Golden Gardens and the kids play down at the gardens and they have lunch down there and everything. And people come up, you know, I've gone down with them a lot because I love Golden Gardens. I go for all the fun stuff, right? And people come up to me and they'll go, who are these people? Like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, it's a day camp. That's a camp? Yeah, but the kids are like nice to each other. They're like playing with each other. I go, yeah, all those ages, and they're from like 4. I think the youngest has been 4 years old, all the way up to, you know, the counselors and the CITs were young adults, and they're all, you know, like playing together and burying each other in the sand and playing volleyball and going in the water. And people look at it and they notice. I mean, the first time it happened, I thought it was just weird that somebody asked me, who are these people? But then we go to the park up here and people are like, what? Who are these people? You know, they keep asking me. So I think it's something about the family. I think, Ima, you mentioned, it's like being at home with a family. Or like, Chiaki, you said being with all your cousins. you're all part of the same family. You're all different ages, but you accept each other as part of the family. And that's hard to do. I mean, I've been at a lot of camps, and my kids have gone to a lot of different YMCA camps, and I mean, they're wonderful camps. But to get that atmosphere where the little kids are asking for piggyback rides on the big kids, and they want to come up and hold the big kid's hand, and they want the big kid to play Connect Four with them, because then they'll know maybe they'll get to win a game one now and then or something. They like to interact, the older and the younger together. And it's something I don't see much in my life otherwise. I mean, I grew up in a big family, so I saw it in my family of origin. But it's not that common. So I think it's another aspect of the program that we should mention. It's a wonderful multi-age program. Now, this is the time when we're going to pass our little silver bowl back there. If somebody will grab it for me. This is the time when we ask people to reach deep into their pocket and help us raise funds for things like fixing the furnace and paying the electric bill and making sure that we keep going on this wonderful journey of Interfaith Community Sanctuary. We know that people out in cyberspace are going online and donating on our little donate button on interfaithcommunitysanctuary.org. We know because, you know, I do the PayPal transfer every month, and people keep bringing stuff, and we're so grateful for all of that contribution that people make. Whatever little bit, it all goes together to help. And we also have people who do wonderful, wonderful selfless service around the building, around the outside of the building, keeping everything clean and tidy, and making sure that if a light bulb burns out, it gets replaced. If something breaks, if a lock doesn't work or something, we get it fixed. And it's all a team effort. And we appreciate all the volunteer hours that go into that. So thank you again for sharing your wealth with us, your time and your treasure. We appreciate it. We have gatherings almost every day of the week here at Interfaith. And we have special events, too, that come on different weekends and so on. Next Saturday is a very special event. It's a time when we're having a wonderful dinner and entertainment time for the Soraya Attar Medical Clinic in Bangladesh, which we are a sponsor. The ICS is a sponsor of this wonderful organization that is really led by Jamal Rahman, our co-minister, and his sister and brother, who are all from the same village in Bangladesh. They grew up in a village in Bangladesh, which now has a medical clinic, very simple, basic medical clinic for women and children and men, but focuses on as women doctors and women's service providers. And we are there in a community that does not otherwise have a health clinic in it at all. And so this clinic is now completed 10 years of service. It was built after the girls' school that was built there, also supported by Interfaith Community Sanctuary many years ago. And we have a dinner coming up on Saturday, February 1st. It's not going to be here, though. It's going to be at Unity of Linwood, which is a bigger venue, and we have more tables and more place and, you know, a sound system and all that upstairs, so we can kind of project this to the world at large. And we are having that dinner at 6 o'clock next Saturday from 6 to 8. There'll be entertainment. There'll be authentic South Asian cuisine. The dinner will be served, and then there'll be a program. You'll hear from Jamal's family members, his sister, their sister's children who are now adults and are helping run the clinic and helping organize the electronic record system they're keeping. And you'll hear about all the new programs that we are beginning after, you know, that we've gradually added in along the 10 years of our service. All are invited. Oh, yes, Emerson's leading our yeah, because where do we all learn to Bollywood dance? At Peace Camp, of course. We all do, every morning, they're up there doing Bollywood dancing, and Emerson became the pro at it, and he often, every year we ask him, and most years he comes and helps us to lead the Bollywood dancing for everybody. That's at the end, after they've had time for their dinner to kind of settle in. And they've listened to all the wonderful things, and then they get up, we all get up and we dance. And Emerson's going to lead us this year. So we have flyers in the back. There's a place to purchase a ticket, and we would love to have you come and share that beautiful evening with us. We also have daily gatherings here in the building that, meditation groups and A Course in Miracles. And in fact, next Sunday, our first Sunday of February, one of the leaders of the Course in Miracles is going to be presenting here in our first Sunday service as a guest presenter, talking to us about what is A Course in Miracles and how does it tie in with Interfaith Community Sanctuary and what is it about? You'll hear more about that next Sunday. And they've been meeting in our house of worship for longer than I've been here, 20, 30 years, and they are a very integral part of our community. And we also have study groups in various different subjects that either relate to our discernment for the year or just things that people are interested in. There have been yoga classes and meditation. We have a meditation group that meets every Thursday evening. We have people who study different books, holy books. So please check our website out for that. And if you want to, you can be on our weekly announcements where you get the exact events that are coming up that week and when they're meeting and whether they're on Zoom or whether they're in person and what time and who you can contact. That includes, for example, our Friday prayers, which is also on Zoom and is every Friday at 1:30 p.m. So we have much to offer besides our wonderful Sunday services. And as I said, these go on every Sunday at 10 a.m. And we do usually meet upstairs where it's a little bit, larger area and warmer. And, it would be warmer down here too if we only had a furnace. Okay. Anyway, I think that we're going to, Gretchen, do you want to do the guy? Oh, go ahead. Yes, Joey.
Could you mention that next Sunday we'll be doing the dedication?
Oh, absolutely. Right after the service, right after the A Course in Miracles sharing service next Sunday, we are having a short dedication service to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the passing of Reverend Karen Lindquist. It was almost just a couple days short of 1 year since she had passed on. And we're consecrating a little space in our garden where we're going to be planting a rose garden in her honor when the roses are ready to be planted, which won't be till about April, I'm told. But we're going to consecrate the area and I think sing a little song and have just a few words of remembrance of the Reverend Karen and how she beautified this building with her presence and with her care and with her very specific attention to the beauty of this building. And we want to express our gratitude for that. Thank you for reminding that. And then, Gretchen, do you want to do the closing blessing before we go offline? And then that would be nice. So then the people online can hear the closing blessing. Gretchen is going to do the Gayatri mantra. And it's in your program. If you, like me, if you know the tune but sometimes forget the words, it's in there.
Chris knows more about the Gayatri mantra as far as factual probably than I do. And I, for about at least probably a month, I've been reading about the Gayatri mantra so I could give people a history of it and everything. And it's really complicated. It's a long history, and maybe Jamal knows more because it comes from India. But I'll tell you my story with the Gayatri mantra, as Elliott would say, my truth. I was taking Jamal's class, and he played it, and for us to learn it. And Gauss and Mangesh were here for Peace Camp, and they came to Jamal's class with me. And when we were driving home, they said, "Oh, we love the Gayatri mantra. Sister Lucy used to play that in the morning to wake us up." And it was so beautiful, and I thought, oh my gosh, that would have been so nice. And so I asked them to teach me. And so we would drive to Peace Camp, and they would, I would try to learn it. And then they left, but I found it on YouTube, and so you can look up Gayatri Mantra on YouTube. There's a channel that I like that it has like book form, and it gives an explanation of each word. Each word has a powerful meaning. That's the most important thing. So I'm going to, not only me, there are other people here who know it. So together we'll just do three times through, okay? And sometimes I do this with Peace Camp also. Om Bhuvasvahat Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasvahat Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasvahat Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Thank you. Okay, are you coming? Sally Jo's coming back.
I forgot one important announcement. So next Sunday is the first Sunday of the month, and we are having our guiding council meeting right after the brief ceremony that we're having after the ceremony. So the guiding council will probably start at 12 rather than 11:45, and then we'll have our guiding council for probably about 12 to 1:15. So we welcome everybody. All members are welcome. All of our congregants are welcome to the guiding council, where we talk about things that need to be talked about, like our programs and our circles that meet and all the different wonderful activities we have. So.
We have gala leftovers if you needed an incentive.
Oh, right, that would be dinner. Gala leftovers, yep, we'll have some leftover dinner, yep.
For the food state.
Yeah, that's right. We do try to give you lunch that day because we do keep you late. Anyway, we thank you all for coming, and thank you to the folks online. We have to say goodbye to them. We're going to have a few minutes. Don't leave yet. I haven't rung the bell to dismiss you yet because, as we always say, we have a few minutes here after, the service ends and after we've said goodbye to our friends online. And by the way, this service is recorded as well as live streamed. So if you want to share it with friends, or you want people to pick up certain parts of it or listen to it, they can go onto our YouTube channel, and it'll be up as a recorded service within an hour or two. I think it's usually up there. Okay, and what we do is we take a few minutes to share our hearts here.